Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Come on in. Hey. All right. All right. Hola. Hey, girl. Ooh, you
Hi.
looking good.
Girl, girl, I can't be on here looking crazy. Joking.
Girl, trying to do this
But no,
fresh face.
you should have seen me 2 seconds earlier. So,
Girl, you pulled it together like that. Girl.
you know. Hi, everybody. Look at people
How
join.
y'all doing? I'm glad y'all joining
So
us.
exciting.
Get my everything together. So I'm about to go live on Facebook.
Okay. Now, I don't know how to do both. Would I need to connect on there too?
Yeah, I'm just using the laptop for Facebook and I'm using the phone for us on Instagram.
Hey, everybody that's joining.
Thank you all for joining. We have a lot of gems coming. And this is not no cookie cutter discussion. Just straight with the raw, the real. Okay. And at the end, we are going to do a Q&A, just so everyone knows. Hello, is it Miss Risa? How you doing? Hi, Angela.
Hey, all my mortgage boos in here. I see a
Yes.
couple of my mortgage people.
Yep. So we will be doing a live Q&A. Going to try to do as many questions as we can. We don't want to make this super long, super drawn out, but we do want to answer people questions. We are here to give you, like I said, once again, the real. I've been in real estate for almost a year now, so I've learned pretty much quite a few things. This is my preferred lender. So she can contest. I'm calling, texting, trying to learn the lender side of everything too. And it can get kind of confusing. So that's why this is like a perfect way to kind of put everything together, see how everything's cohesive, answer questions about things that you may not be able to get just directly online. So
Right.
I'm trying to wait for a few more people, but I'm gonna get started.
Okay.
So I'm Brittany Ray. That's what I go by. I'm from outside of Chicago, from a city called Kankakee. Many people don't know what Kankakee is, but from Kankakee. So I also started out in public relations, but I don't do public relations anymore. So it really taught me how to be personable, be sociable, know how to network, how to follow up. So I kind of took that experience and moved over to real estate. I'm very enthusiastic about just the whole process of a home. I really love interiors. I just love the goal, the financial wealth that comes behind it. And I would love to be a part of that for everybody's journey. So that's my main focus. And to get you to believe and have faith and take the step that the dream of home ownership, whether it's investment property, whether it's your first, second, whatever it is, like it can be achieved. And so as long as you believe that, you work towards that, you got me backing you up, we ain't game.
Right.
Okay, and so I've been in Atlanta since 2015. I did go to Clark Atlanta University back in 2005. So yeah, I've been in high school almost 15 years now. Time has flew. But Atlanta has been pretty okay. I feel like I'm still trying to get grounded, even though it's been almost 7 years. But everything comes with time.
It's a different pace.
It is.
But welcome to Atlanta every day. I always tell people that. You'll get used to it eventually.
Yeah,
Nowadays, everyone in Atlanta isn't from Atlanta. So,
exactly.
the city is definitely a mixed melting pot of people. It's a lot
Hmm.
of young Black professionals. So we always love to see that.
We
Um,
do.
yeah.
We do. So, that's pretty much a little bit about me in a nutshell. So, you go ahead, girl. Tell everybody about
Okay.
you.
Well, I'm Allison McCartan. I'm a licensed mortgage loan originator. I always like to say I've been in the mortgage industry my entire life because I have my mom, she's been in the mortgage industry since I knew what she was doing. I just always knew my mom had her office. She was always complaining about Fannie Freddie guidelines. And I'm just like, who is Fannie Freddie? And I never thought that it was something that I would do because I'm like, this looks stressful. But my mom, she switched over. Well, first she was doing mortgages and then she got my sister to be her mortgage processor. And my sister has like 20 years of experience processing. So it's kind of
Wow.
like, okay, I can't find a good processor. You come be my processor. And then I graduated from college. I went to Savannah State University. And when I graduated, she was like, okay, you need to get licensed to do my deals because I started doing real estate.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how I got started. So I was like early 20s trying to figure it all out. And now I'm here, such and such years old and such years later. So it's about 10 years later. And I love it. It's not the easiest thing in the world because you're dealing with people's largest financial investment. But the good
Right.
thing
Right.
about it is you can kind of figure out ways to help people that probably wouldn't be helped otherwise.
Hmm.
Um, just based on people that I work with, if it's not an easy deal, they don't want to deal with it. And if you understand the guidelines, you might come across situations where it's like, okay, let me help fix your deal, come, or let me show you what you need to do in order to get your home. So that's my little backstory.
So everyone that's just joining in, thank you, thank you. We're just introducing ourselves. Once again, I'm Brittany Ray. This is Allison. She's my preferred lender. So we work on a team together. We're two professionals in the real estate industry. I handle real estate. She handles the mortgage side. So she's the one that you will go to make sure you can get approved so you can purchase your home. So that is where we are now. So we want to talk about today pre-approvals. And I know a lot of people that first come into the mindset, okay, I want to purchase a home. They hear pre-approval and they know a little bit, but they don't know a lot. So they just thinking,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, pre-approved, that means just like a credit card, maybe. Am I pre-approved for a credit card? But it's more extensive than a pre-approval from a credit card that's being sent in the mail. So we're going to break that down. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're going to break that down for you.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to talk about is, why when we as realtors, and I want you people out there, when we tell you, okay, you're ready to buy a home, okay, so we're going to explain the process to you, of course, and then we're going to say, okay, now I'm gonna connect you to my preferred lender. Now it's time for you to get pre-approved. The pre-approval is the step that lets me know as a realtor and assure yourself, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
to take this next step. Because the first thing that I hear is, oh my God, they gonna pull my credit. I don't want my credit pulled.
Yep.
Well, that's going to be a hard inquiry. And then that uncertainty of getting your credit pulled is what steers you away from actually knowing if you can even be approved for it. But there's no way around it, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Tara, there's no way around it. You have to be pre-approved.
Right.
And there's a importance to it. There's a process to it. It's a step to home buying, but that is a step that you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do without that. I know I make 80,000, so I should be able to afford my house, and that's not how it works, honey.
That
It's
is.
not.
And then
So,
what they'll do is they will go to someone else and like, oh, I don't need to send my documents. And they don't send their documents. Someone gives them a pre-approval letter, which is not a real pre-approval letter. and then their loan falls apart because there was a difference in income or a difference in some type of documentation that was requested, and they don't get a pre-approval letter. So it's kind of like, okay, you're telling me to do this, but can I just do it the easy way? Easy way doesn't always work out.
We know that through life, people.
Right.
We know easiness does not work out, people. You have to follow the process.
And
If
I'm
someone
just
is
pulling it up on my phone. I have two different accounts, but I can't see the chat. So if you see me looking down, I had to pull it up.
okay, we do. We have people joining in saying, "Hey, hey, hey," which is
Hey,
cool. Um,
I'm not
you know,
good with
like
live, so I'm like, I can't see nothing.
I know above average credit counselor says, I always tell my clients it's safer to know where you are versus guessing, then you get denied. It's only 2 or 3 points.
Exactly. And inquiries, I always tell people that are hung up on inquiries, they're not going to affect you like a late payment. They're not going to
Mhm.
impact you like a collection on your credit report. It's an inquiry. And usually when you are shopping around for a mortgage, you have a certain window where you can shop. But I want to get back to the importance of pre-approval, because when you're going through the pre-approval process, the lender that you're working with, they should get your documents. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they tell me, well, I'm pre-approved with 3 other lenders
Mhm.
and I didn't have to send any documents.
Mhm.
And then when I get their documents, I'm like, how are you pre-approved? You don't have any money in your account. Your credit, your DTI is not where it needs to be. I'm looking at your tax returns, looking at your actual income, because people, most of the time, if you ask someone how much they make, we're always going to boast how much we make.
Of
Okay.
course.
We're going to round it up. But in the mortgage industry, everything is all about facts. Show me the receipts, show me the paperwork, and allow me to put that information into our system, work numbers, and get back with you to see what it is that you qualify for versus you telling me what you want.
Exactly.
So I stopped doing that a long time ago. I stopped listening to what people say. I even tell, my clients, when they're completing an application, of course, I want you to complete it to the best of your ability. But once you get to the numbers, don't worry about the numbers. You can put in estimates, because when I get your documents, I'm going to put in those actual numbers. Like, I don't even play those games anymore,
Okay.
because you're going to always be making adjustments. And sometimes when I don't, I'm like, oh, look at you putting in your actual information. Or someone may put in that they have $40,000 in their account, and then you get their documents and it's like, okay, you have 2,000. Where's the rest of the money? Where's the money coming from? And then
Wow.
you start getting into the conversation of the stories, like, oh yeah, such and such is supposed to give me money for my house. You want to walk them through the right way to do gift funds, or if they need to do a large deposit. There's so much that comes into the pre-approval side. So just don't think that the easy route is always going to be the best route, because most of the time when people don't listen, they go the easy route, their loan falls apart.
That's just what it is. That's the truth, people. Like, don't do it. Just do it the right way the first time. Because if you have to go back and do it the second time, you're going to be even madder. Because
Exactly.
now you didn't wasted ample amount of time when you could have just did it the right way.
Right. And just like she said, it's under my mattress. That mattress money, whenever I hear people who have large cash deposits, I'm like, deposit it right now. Like right now.
Yeah.
And that way the funds can season. We know about how long it takes for you to go under contract, get a house. If you have cash and I pre-approve you, deposit it right now. I've had people who don't listen, and then they're like, oh yeah, our offer got accepted. Do you want me to still deposit that money? I'm like, see, you did not listen. Now we have to figure out how we're going to get these
Factor this
funds.
in. Right.
I've had all types of crazy situations when it comes to cash. I've had people disguise gift funds where they took out a loan, gave it to their sister, and then their sister transferred the money. And it's like, all of this is a paper trail. The underwriter is like, okay, so this went from this account to this account. So where did this come from? And then now you're telling me, well, I didn't know y'all can see all that. We
Do
can
it.
see that. So that's why you work with a preferred lender. And your realtor can call them and say, okay, girl, how can we fix this? Is this a real red flag? Are we in trouble? What can we do to work around this situation? Versus working with someone that they can't get on the phone and they can't figure out how to save your deal because something went wrong.
And that's the facts of it. Like, that's the question too. Like, why is it so important to you use your realtor's preferred lender? And these are the reasons why. Because if your realtor has a relationship with somebody that's directly dealing with your loan, how much quicker you think I can get to her or that
Right.
person, him or her? What type of communication you think we already have? Have we established a relationship? Pretty much we have.
Exactly.
So them late night historic like calls that you may be calling your like, oh my God, da, 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 and it's something pertaining to your loan. Not saying I'm gonna wake Allison up in the 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna get up first thing in the morning and I'm gonna reach out to her, and I know that my question is going to be answered and you can get the right information.
Right.
If
And
you
then
come
when
with a
it's a
pre-approved,
fire or a rush needed, we have that relationship. So I'll know, okay, I know it's 7, 8 o'clock. Gosh, we're trying to get this loan to close this week. So let me go ahead and work on this first. We can allocate what's important, what has a sense of urgencies. Not everything has a sense of urgency, but I do get people, maybe they went with a bank or another lender and they're like, I haven't heard from my loan officer in 2 weeks. I haven't talked to them throughout this whole process.
that's what happens. That's what happens. And them bank people, they're not going to answer the phone because what they have a caseload that is so enormous and they prioritizing too.
Right.
So it's just best to work with people that have a relationship with other people. That's important. If someone, relationships go a long way.
Hmm.
They either make or they can break you.
And
One
it's
of the
another
two.
thing when it comes to fees as well. I always say your average customer, they don't know how to read a closing disclosure. They don't know how to read a loan estimate.
Mm-hmm.
So in most cases, you don't know what you should be charged. You don't know if you're paying for your interest rate, if you're buying down your interest rate, which basically that means I call it there's a free rate. There's a rate that allows you to get funds or lender credit towards your closing costs that might be a little bit higher. And then you also have rates that you pay for if you want a lower rate. So I always like to tell different stories to bring it all together because sometimes it might feel like we're just talking blah, blah, blah. This is a whole new world to people. But they were refinancing and they were getting a rate, I think it was 2.5%. Now, rates, you can get that easily last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it's going to be a little bit tougher. So he's
Right.
like, well, I'll just go with them. And I said, let me see the documents. That way I can just make sure that you're getting a good deal because he wanted me to work with another property that he had. So he goes all the way to close. Well, it's almost closing. They give him the closing disclosure. He sends it to me. And I'm like, your monthly payment is the same as it was before. And he's like, yeah, I thought that was strange. And I'm like, your closing costs are so high. They've added the closing costs to your mortgage. So that way it's just like, oh yeah, all I got to bring is $2 to closing. But your closing cost is like $1 million added to your loan. And you're just like, yeah, they're supposed to work on it for me. This is your closing disclosure. Like it might not be accurate down to a T, but it should be
Right.
pretty accurate. And it
Right.
doesn't make sense. If I own my home for 10, 15 years and I'm trying to do a refinance to reduce my mortgage, reduce my interest rate, why is my payment the same? So it's
It
just
should not
certain
be the
things
same.
like that. You're just thinking, oh, well, I'm going to closing. They told me I didn't have to bring anything to closing, and my rate is 2.5%. You're getting a terrible deal. Don't sign those papers. But if you have someone who knows what to look at and knows, okay, this fee, that looks kind of high, you can kind of get, or we kind of know what to look for, I guess, and know how to explain it to you to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a bad financial situation.
Right. Because that's what really professionals are supposed to do, not to put their clients in bad financial situations, especially when it comes to a major purchase. Like,
That's a
so,
great purchase,
always
a
go,
15 year.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You always have to make sure the network that you put yourself in is people that you can actually trust. Like, just because, and you have to, make sure that your realtor does have a relationship with preferred lenders. Because I know some people, I didn't have stories about, potential clients that say, you know what, they referred me to their preferred lender, and I don't think I want to work with the realtor based off the preferred lender. And I was like, oh. And
Okay.
that just happened, that just happened to me. And I'm like, have to explain and be like, well, I don't know that situation, but over here, what
Mm-hmm.
we do over here, what I do, what my preferred lenders do is what we do over here. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that, because before I even got real good and knew certain things about lending or even real estate, I said that I would wanted to build a solid team. And so I was sending out messages. I was doing emails. I was taking conversations. Listen, like, tell me, I want to know if there's a possibility you can work with me. Like, this is where I'm at. This is what I know. This is what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to build a relationship and see where it went. So I can see, okay, is this person really going to be on the, because you got to have the same values and the same morals.
Right.
You always want to uphold integrity and all that good stuff and have good morals and good values when it comes to business practice and ethics.
Your
And you
name
could
will
bring
follow you.
anybody.
Your name will follow you all the time. I
Oh,
was just
yeah.
talking to my area manager about it. There's a lot of loan officers that don't have good names in this industry because of their practices. There's a lot of people who don't care. As far as you just being a number, it's like, okay, we can't do it. I ask so many people when they say, hey, I tried to go through the pre-approval process, and they're like, well, they told me I couldn't do it. I'm like, why? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. They didn't tell me. So you waited a year, you waited 6 months, you don't even know what you were supposed to be working on. That happens so much. So you're not working with somebody who's trying to help you. Now, we're not magicians. We can't, wave a magic wand to get you approved, or we can give you advice and tips. But, you want to at least know the basics. Was it my credit? Was it my DTI? Was it my student loans? Why can I get pre-approved? Some lenders, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to stop answering your call. And it's like, okay, well, I guess they couldn't help me. Send an email. We can't help you at this time.
Right. And see, that's not, that's not the business practices that I follow, nor does my preferred lenders follow. So it's like, you got to be mindful of what steps you take. And if something may seem a little different, it's okay to question, but just make sure you do your due diligence and research what it actually takes, because everything is on Google, honey.
Right. And then once you find someone that you want to represent you, trust them.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to go to mom and daddy, sister, cousin that bought a house in 1982 and telling you, well, why isn't it like this? Why isn't it like that? I have to deal with that with my mom because, of course, she is a mortgage guru. But I'm like,
Right.
okay, you're on the real estate side now. Things change every day, So you have to trust your agent. You have to trust your mortgage lender. You have to trust even your insurance agent if you're getting insurance. If that's who you choose, trust that they have your best interests in heart.
I mean, and I think that's another whole thing. Like, people want to listen to distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, am I working with you or your mother? Am I working with you or your cousin? Because I know they bought their house when the industry crashed. Oh, wait. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, they didn't have to bring nothing to the closing table. That's fine.
You got to have money saved now.
It's
I was talking to
2021.
I was talking to
2021.
2021. I was talking to my one of my clients that's pre-approved, and he's looking for a house, and he was like, he brought it up. Usually I'm the one to say that, but he said, man, I'm so tired of listening to other people who didn't buy their house in 2021, because he's talking about the struggle of this year. I'm like, thank you. Buying a house last year is not the same as buying a house this year.
It's not.
It changes all of the time. And once you do buy your house, you're going to feel like a boss. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, let me tell you what you need to do. Everybody wants to do that. They're always proud of their purchase. So
Girl.
But your struggle is not the next person's struggle. Everybody's situation is different.
Exactly.
Everyone has a different credit situation, different income situation, a different asset situation. That's why I cringe so much sometimes when I see people just ask a general question online like, hey, do you all think I should such and such? And it's just like, without looking at your individual situation, no one can tell you what you need to do to get a home other
Right.
than the lender that you're working with. Even if I'm not the lender, you have to go to them. They have your credit, they have your documents. Don't go and say, hey, does anyone know if I have a score of 640, can I get a home for this amount? That's not how it works.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, it's a case by case basis when it comes to buying a home. It's case by case. Like you said, you are unique. As a person, you are different. You have unique personality. That's one. That's just period. As a person, as a human being, but you have a unique financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just is what it is. So you have to follow the process and the journey during your unique financial situation and trust that process.
Right.
That's all you can do. I mean, I feel like people want, I think it comes down to the point, the microwave mentality.
Everything
Oh, I
right
give you
now.
a question, give me the answer. I give you a question, give me the answer. That's not
And
how it
everyone
goes.
wants to answer on demand. And I
Oh,
always
yeah.
tell people, whenever you kind of, especially if you're in real estate or mortgage, the mortgage industry, you don't have to answer questions on demand. Things change every single day. It's okay for you to say, let me get back with you, because the person that's just flying off information and giving it to you based on your situation, those quick calls, and you're like, okay, here's my information, tell me about this. Most of the time they're just giving you information. I'm in the rooms, they don't know off top. So you just have to be cautious. And then Simone said, can you elaborate on that, have money saved?
Hmm.
And you want to kind of change your mindset when it comes to saving, because when you're purchasing a house, it's not just about what is the down payment, what are the closing costs. Those are usually going to vary based on the house that you're looking to buy. So I can say generally, okay, there are programs conventional. If you're a first time home buyer, you put down 3% of the purchase price. FHA, you put down 3.5% of the purchase price. Oh, closing costs. They're usually between 2 to 5% of the purchase price. But if you know that you want to buy, you need to save what you can save, as much as you can save, because assets is going to be important even if we're not using those funds when it comes to qualifying you. So it's not just about what can I save for the home purchase. You just need to save if you're looking to purchase a house, because cash reserves can help you. 401k that you may not even touch. If you have 401k, I always ask for your 401k statements. People don't think to send those, but cash reserves, that can help your interest rate. It can help your approval. Um, so as far as your situation, you just want to save as much as possible. There are down payment assistance programs that allow you to do 100% financing. But even if you're doing 100% financing, for the down payment, there are closing costs. Sometimes when you're using down payment assistance, the closing costs might be a little bit higher than what it would have been if you put down your own down payment.
Hmm.
So that would be kind of a situation where it depends on what you currently have saved, and it also depends on the amount that you're looking to buy,
Hmm.
what programs are available for you. But if you know you want to buy right now, have a savings plan right now, regardless of the amount that you're looking to buy. Save, save, save.
I mean, this is the only time I condone saving. Other than that, your money don't make no money in the bank. Invest it. But when you're
You
buying a
want to buy,
house, save. That's a whole nother conversation. But
right?
that's what I'm saying. You definitely have to. And I mean, and it's like you said, it's different ways and avenues that you can get across that down payment, but you still gotta save for a closing cost. And
Right.
it's sometimes, like you said, you got the 100% finance, and that can take a portion of your closing costs as well. But you still, in a nutshell, like someone just said on here, you don't want to be house broke. You don't want to move into your home and
Exactly.
you don't have no, like you said,
No
reserves,
cushion.
nothing.
You
Can't
might
furnish
find a
the
house.
house.
People aren't paying for closing costs nowadays. Now,
They
I still get contracts where people are putting towards closing costs. I'm not going to say that they're not. So,
okay.
closed mouth don't get fed. So, don't just, I'll leave that up to your agent like I do. Leave that up to your agent as far as negotiating closing costs. But I still get people who get closing costs. But let's say it's a situation, of course, people are overbidding, there are multiple offers. You don't want to depend on saying, oh, sellers can pay up to 6% closing costs. Like, this is not, you don't want to be in that situation if you fall in love with the house. And just to go back, closing costs, people might not know what closing costs are. They're going to be your lender fees, your attorney fees, title fees, upfront taxes, upfront insurance. You could throw the appraisal in there, appraisal reinspection. That's not going to be a good bulk of it, but there are so many fees when it comes to getting a mortgage. And usually, well, on a pre-approval, the loan officer that you're working with, they should make sure that you have enough money or you have a game plan for the amount of house that you're looking to get, whether it's in the form of you have a bonus coming, you have a gift funds, but you shouldn't get a pre-approval letter without having proof of funds. Um, but that happens sometimes. So sometimes people may come to me and they're like, hey, do you have down payment assistance programs? I'm under contract and I ain't got no money. But you had this pre-approval letter. It happens. And
Wow. Wow.
you just have to
Wow.
make sure you know what you're getting into before you put an offer. Because if you put an offer on a house, that seller is taking their house off of the market. You have your agent putting in work, first of all, to try to get the offer accepted. And now
Exactly.
here you are, you don't have the money that you need to get to closing.
That's just, that is
Now
so,
everybody's like,
what in the world?
things happen.
I'm just thinking like as a person, like I wouldn't even think to even do something like that. But I'm trying to, I mean, your clients do lie. They can lie
Mm-hmm.
and they will lie. So it's like me, I'm asking, well, how much money do you have saved? You could tell me anything.
Right.
I don't see anything. You know what I mean? The lender, it gets sent over to the lender, but I don't see anything unless you openly give me that discretion to tell me. But I mean, you could tell me anything. So I guess, listen, listen. But we have a question that says, how soon does the lender let you know that you may have closing costs to pay for?
So you always have closing costs to pay for. Typically, whenever I send out a pre-approval letter, or not even when I send it out, but if I'm doing a pre-approval, I have all of your documents, your bank statements, your savings, 401k, all of that. And if I notice that your down payment is the only thing, or your assets are the only thing that's preventing you from getting pre-approved, I'm not going to give you the letter unless we have a solid understanding about what you're going to need to get to the closing table. So that means, where's the money coming from? I'm very frank, like once I see that, hey, I know you're looking for a house. One of the first conversations I have is, how much do you have saved towards a home purchase? Um, I have $1,000, $2,000. Okay, well, let me go over the numbers with you so I can let you know what is needed. And they're like, then if they say my mom is going to give me the funds, I let them know up front, okay, well, most of the time we're going to need a bank statement showing that they have the funds to gift. They're going to have to sign a gift letter stating that this is a gift. They're not expecting the money back. And we just have to set a solid game plan. That way, when you go under contract and the underwriter conditions for proof of funds, that you're not looking at me like, well, I didn't know I needed that, you
Right.
know? So in those cases, I give a itemized fee sheet with my pre-approval letter, and I'll let them know, okay, this is the amount that you're going to need. So when you better not go under contract, you better not go under contract without having this money or letting me know that you're going to give me this money ASAP. Because there are situations where people receive gift funds, or maybe they're getting a bonus from their job, or they're just different situations. But they have to know what they're getting into if they don't have the money in their account at that time.
Exactly. So no one says that you can't receive gifts or you don't can't have a plan to get those down payment funds. But the main objective is have a game plan to know when those funds are going to hit your account and be able to provide any type of information to make sure that your lender, when it goes on the underwriting, that those funds will be secured and in your account.
Yep.
I mean, so we covered a little bit. We asked some little questions along the way. So, you know, what is the importance? And I'm asking people, what do you feel like the importance is for you to get a pre-approval before you go home shopping? And I say this because a lot of times, you know, you get excited. I know a lot of people get excited and say, oh my God, I'm gonna look for a home. Okay, I seen this home on such street and it's in a perfect neighborhood. Can I go look at it? I personally not gonna take you to go look at anything. I'm gonna be frank. I'm not going to take you to go look at no house if I don't even know how much house you can afford.
Right.
For one, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. For two, you're going to waste your time. For three, you're going to waste my time too. Because what's going to happen is if you look at we all have those big dreams. I'm not knocking you. Everybody want to live a retail lifestyle. Oh my goodness, girl, I make this much money and I'm about to give me a $450,000, $500,000 house. Oh, okay, good. Shoot for the stars. Yeah. Goals. I'm all for it. But then we go look at that house and like, oh my God, you fall in love. You are in love. Oh my God, look at these countertops. Look at these cabinets. Look at this big yard. And you like, listen, okay, what I got to do to get this house? I'm ready to get this house. This is the one. And it's like, but you don't even know how much house you can afford. That's what's going to happen if I take you to go see a house. And then you don't know how much house you can afford. So then when the lender does all the documentation, they say, okay, you're pre-approved for $256,000.
I was gonna say 180.
Let's drop down. You approved
That's
for
how. Listen.
$180,000. Okay. But I just took you as a realtor. I took you to go look at the $455,000 house that you just love. But you are only approved for $180,000 now. What are you gonna do to me? First of all, you gonna get mad at me?
Paste on a beer budget.
We go out here in this real estate world and we see HGTV and we look at all these houses and all these homes and all these fix and flips and all this, we get so excited. But it's like when you have to know what you can afford before you go look at anything. It's okay to see stuff and be inspired, to be pushed to reach that goal. But if you know good and doggone well, your credit is not together, you don't have any money in the bank, you're not making multiple six figures, you really gonna have to back up and get that pre-approval so you know what you're looking for.
Right.
That's all I can tell you. Because if you cross that situation, your manager will like, why would you show me this house? Why would you show me this house? And what I'm gonna say, oh, that's good. You wanted to look at it. Like, I do myself a disservice when I disservice you as a client. So don't think that the realtor is trying to be mean or they don't want to show me. They just don't want to get up and do their job. And it's like, no, honey, it's nothing like that. It's the fact that there are steps you need to take. And there's no reason you should be looking at anything and you don't even know if you can afford it.
Right.
This is not a mall. Okay.
I think that people need to understand too. I think sometimes they have that customer service mindset, like, give me what I want, give me what I want. You need to service me how I want to be serviced. And in the mortgage and real estate industry, it's not like that. Like, you just don't get what you want. You have to be backed by your credit, by your cash. Cash is king. If you're a cash buyer, you have to be backed by that pre-approval letter to say, okay, this is how much this person can get, because no one has time to really waste, you know? it's the same thing when people try to do rate shopping and they don't want to do a pre-approval. It's like, I can tell you any rate. I could say, oh yeah, your rate is 1%. Sure. You haven't given me any documents. There's so much that comes into interest rates, into seeing what rate you qualify for. And then there are certain rate lock periods. So even if there's just so much that goes into it, I think people need to know that if they're looking to buy, get your documents together, meet with your agent, meet with your loan officer. It's kind of like you're preparing for a job interview. You don't go into a job interview and be like, okay, now I want this job. I want that position. I want to be at the front desk. Like, that's not how that works.
My own office. I want the
Okay.
window. I want an assistant.
Front parking. Somebody's in my parking space. Like, no, that's not how that works. So when you're buying a house, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, let me get my resume. Let me get my papers. Let me get my tax returns together. Let me make sure that I handle this professionally. Sometimes when people send me their documents, they send one picture here, one this turned upside down. Stop. While you're ahead, we won't even do it. Like, get your stuff together and be professional. This is a house, the largest investment that you will have. So if you just get into the mindset like, wow, I'm about to make a big move, I'm about to make a big purchase, and you think of it as an interview, it would be great. Even now, I see agents and realtors, they're giving letters of intent for properties. Like, this is not the same industry, you know? People want to say, I'm going to take good care of your house. Here's my pre-approval letter. Here's my lender's contact information. I get calls from listing agents. Is this a real solid pre-approval? Yes, honey. Yes. Like, everyone is trying to make sure they don't waste their time.
Yeah. Because becoming a homeowner, anything in real estate, you have to be intentional. And I think if we all move in an intentional mindset, that things that we go for in life, especially home buying, everything would just be what it needs to be. Our presentation will be well. Who we get to represent us will be well, because we will be intentional in the things that we're seeking. Is something as big as a purchase. Like,
and it'll be a lot smoother. You'll go to closing, instead of going to closing like we fought 12 battles, we prepared for war, and we ready to sign these papers. You're gonna go in there, you're gonna be like, I've had some people like, I thought it was supposed to be more stressful than this. Ma'am, you had your stuff together. I'm so proud. Let me give you a hug, okay? Because when we have it together, we know what we're getting into. Things go smoothly. Everybody's happy at the closing table. Seller is not mad at you.
This season. Oh, is it breaking up?
Oh, you there?
Okay, yeah. This season.
Was I freezing too?
Yeah, you was freezing. But like you said, we have to be. People have to be intentional when they come into the home buying process. What are your intentions? What do you hope to achieve? Like you said, you get suited and booted, like nice, sharp, get yourself together, and you present yourself in that manner every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to.
Especially when you're all black doing it. We're going to be like, yes, get your home.
Get it. Because that's what we're here for. Like, the people think that being in real estate, being a realtor, being a mortgage loan officer, like this, they getting commission. They getting them real money. They getting them big checks. Do you know what it takes? You know how many years it takes to get to a level where you're really going to the bank?
Mm-hmm. People come and go. People come and go in the industry all of the time.
Because why you think it's such a high turnover? Why you think like the percentage of realtors is actually doing business, making transactions, versus the ones that are just inactive license, or they're not doing it?
It's a hustle. And I always tell people, when it comes to mortgage and real estate industry, no one is going to hold your hand. Like, for the longest, there weren't even any millennials in lending. I was like the only one in all of these rooms. you know, and now that it's getting, you know, we're getting a lot more young people in the mortgage industry, but there's a learning curve. Like when I go to meetings and all of that, usually I'm the only one in the room. Everybody is like this. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm representing, but they talk. They're like, hey, we don't want anyone new. They don't want to hire anybody new. It's too much work to hire somebody new. It's too much work to hold their hand. So what do you have to do when you're new? You have to grind. You have to connect. You have to network. People don't understand, like, not even getting it from a broker. I know people are always like, oh, my broker needs to help me with this. My broker needs to help me with that. Do you know that you can learn so much from your peers, from your lender, from having a conversation with someone like me? You might not know everything, but there are so many times people call me like, girl, I have no idea what they're talking about. Can you tell me? Or my client asked me this. I don't know. Can you? Having that relationship is just so important because if you're new, you're not going to know everything. Like my sister,
You're not.
she's been a mortgage processor for 20 plus years. I call her to this day. This underwriter said this. Okay, what do we need to do? Okay, so what should the paper say? Okay, so what should they write on the letter? Okay, you sure? Okay, it goes through. She knows. She sees different things. You want to network with people who see outside of what you see, outside of what your broker could tell you. They don't have time. A lot of those top producing brokers and top producing branch managers, they don't have time to teach you. They're getting business. There's usually non-producing managers and producing managers. If they're producing, let's hope that they have time for you, but you have to hustle and figure out how to get your answers, the questions to your answers in order to be successful. Or if it takes too long to get an answer back to a client, they've gotten the answer from somebody else.
Exactly. I mean, I have to be resourceful because the brokerage I'm with it's continuing to grow. And I'm not a top producer. So at the end of the day, I know that the focus is on the top 15% nonetheless. So I'm new, but at the same time, a lot of my answers I get from networking. And I'm up all night,
Mm-hmm.
3, 4 o'clock in the morning, studying, researching, go to sleep, wake back up, do it again. And if I see anything that's going on, I'm gonna send them, hey, so does this mean X, Y, and Z? And it's like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, or no, not quite. And that's how I retain my information. I mean, I'm constantly checking in with you. I try to check in with you at least every 30 to 45 days to see, hey, what's new? But you give me so much information. Email, if I read through and if okay, I'm not quite understanding or I don't know, then I'm gonna hit you up and say, hey, okay, does this mean? So I mean, you really have to hit the ground running and you really need to be a real-minded person. You're not going to be an expert in everything. We're not telling potential clients like, know exactly what you need to do verbatim to get a
Mm-hmm.
pre-approval. No, what we're saying is put yourself in a position intentionally to find the right people that's going to be able to put you in a situation where your process runs smoothly, they effectively and efficiently communicate, and you're going to make it to the closing table as long as you have faith, hold on, and continue
Okay.
on the process.
Okay. And we'll see you in 1 to 3 years. Because after you make it, after that, oh, you in here. You're going to be like, I like this money. I like helping people. But you have to get through that first. It's a grind. But you can do it. You can buy a house. You can sell a house. You can sell a shoe. You can do anything you put your mind to. But you can't just feel like information is going to fall into your lap.
It's not. It's not going to fall into your lap.
And that's
So
why y'all are watching. Thanks so much for watching.
I know we appreciate everybody.
Y'all
We
are
do.
still here.
So I think it's 2 questions in here. We're going to answer these questions. We're going to touch on these real quick. Okay. So one I just seen right here says, what would make a veteran realtor give a newbie lender a chance? Oh,
I
well,
can
I
give
don't know.
you
Who
more
do
than
you?
perspective, Any, they're gonna make money off of you. Are they gonna make money off of you? That is what's gonna give them a chance. If they see something in you that this is all, I don't want to say that it's all about money, but I honestly believe that when it comes to the basics of what do I see in this person to help them grow? Do they have that mindset? Because typically they're going to get paid off of you. Same thing with a loan officer, a branch manager, they're going to get paid off of you. So my thing is, if you are going to be profitable in those late night calls and getting on your nerves, I make YouTube videos and I said this specific thing. If you want to be like, hey, can I get on your nerves for a year and I'm going to help you make money? They will hire you. Like, I'm going to hustle, but I'm going to get on your nerves. And it's for the betterment of the team, betterment of them. You're uplifting them. That's what they look for, to be honest, because it's sales. This is sales on both sides. We're helping people become homeowners, but it's sales and it's 100% commission. So are the pros going to outweigh the cons? The money that I put into you, am I going to get it back? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like on my side, I'm not a vet realtor, but for me to feel like I want to give a newbie lender a chance, I just have to see the grind. Like, I have to see that you have some type of networking capabilities behind you, that you're persistent. Show how you're an expert, get on some lives, share some information. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk to a vet realtor and you want to shoot your shot, just come with a resume. Just tell about what you've been doing, what your experience is, all that good stuff, and just see how they vibe with you. I mean, personality and tenacity is everything. Work ethic outbeats talent any god doggone day.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. Another question. Ooh, hold on. I'll be clicking off the questions. You all can hit the question box too, so we could have went in there and looked at that. Let's see. Yes, the broker has preferred. Okay, she was asking about, can an agent have preferred lenders that work with regardless? Yes. So Jasmine answered that question for you, Gabby. Yes, you can have your own preferred lenders no matter what broker you work for. Your broker will have a preferred lender or two that come in a packet, because they're supposed to give you like a startup packet of, okay, here are people that do our inspections, here are people that do insurance, here are people that do mortgage loans, our lenders. So you can reach out to them, let them know, hey, I just joined such and such a brokerage and you are the preferred da-da-da. Can we have a conversation? You could do it that way. Or what I did, I did my due diligence and I went out and I searched on Instagram and I looked at people's feeds. I looked at their posts. I followed them for a minute. I seen the culture and their brand. And if I connected with it, I reached out. I said, hey, this is my name. I'm with such and such a. I would love to build a team. I would love to work with you. And then I set up a call and move forward. And if we vibe and we say, okay, yeah, I think this would be a great thing, then we vibe together. And now I have a preferred lender that I made that connection with, not what my broker gave me. Because I also thought too that the lenders that they gave me, if they're going to be working with all 200 for whatever, they're going to be pretty busy. It's going to be a lot going on. And as me being a new real estate agent, I had to make sure that I can depend on somebody. I don't want to be led into the woods and blinded. I needed to be able to depend on somebody. And me building a connection and building a network and building a relationship with a lender that I reached out and researched myself, I knew and I felt, if I felt I can depend on that person, and that if I need help, that they will help me, and I'm going to bring them money when my clients are ready to come to the table, then that's what I was looking for. So once again, intention. You have to be intentional what you're looking for, because only you know what you need.
Right.
So,
and you have to also find out what works with your network. So depending on your demographic, depending on who your clientele is, yes, we want everyone, but you have to see, okay, who has access to the programs that I need? When I'm looking for, let's say, an insurance agent, I need an insurance agent who's going to be able to get back with me as soon as possible because we need an insurance quote in order to get this loan clear to close, or we need to wrap this up. Or if I'm in a bind, I need someone who's going to be able to work numbers to give me, if I say this person's $100 a month, this other person has them at 200 and something, and that's just too much. They're not going to qualify. I need someone that I can call and not get an answer a week later. You know, so who is going to help your market of people? Who's going to help you grow? It's a partnership. So I don't work for agents. Agents don't work for me. I don't work for insurance agents. Agents don't work for me. But we all work together to try to achieve one goal, which is helping that one person to the closing table. So a lot of times people say, well, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of working for you? If we're closing deals together, we're working together. You know what I'm saying? If I know that I
Right.
can call on you, this is going to be a smooth transaction. I can go to sleep at night knowing that we're going to close in a week, and I don't have to think, oh my gosh, are we closing next week? Oh my gosh, are we closing this week? That's stressful.
It is.
Even people that I work with all the time, I know once it comes to closing week, it's like, okay, Allison, I know we're good, but are we good? And I'm like, yeah, we're good. Because we have that relationship. But if you have someone that you haven't heard from in a week and you're supposed to be closing next week and you don't know what's going on, it's just a stressful transaction. And then when you're doing many, you just want to be able to know, okay, this deal's in, on to the next deal. I can chill on that. You know, you don't want to sit there and have to hold a hand through each deal to the closing table. You want to know, okay, I passed the baton. She's going to tap me in. If I can't get a document, I'm going to call my realtor and be like, hey, by the way, it's been 3 days. We're waiting on a document. Just follow up with them, see if they have it, if they can send it. You know, we kind of help each other balance out when it comes to getting the loan to the closing table. But it's stressful, and you don't want lack of relationship or lack of knowing what's going on in the process to hinder you from being able to get more business because you're all hands on deck on the loans that you have that are basically in processing or in underwriting.
Back. So I feel like that's a good ending to our conversation. We have given you a whole hour of the real in real estate. When it comes to the pre-approval process, we have touched on the potential client side. We have also helped a few realtors with their questions when it comes to pre-approval. So I feel like we did a great job.
Ding, ding, ding.
So make sure y'all share this with people. I'm going to repost this live in my feed. Please reshare it with people that want the information. Share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your colleagues, your associates, whoever, because this information needs to be out here. And once again, you know, you can follow my preferred lender, Allison. Go ahead and shoot them your handle.
Yes, follow me, Chic Mortgage Millennial, on everything. I do a couple of videos on YouTube about the mortgage process. And thanks so much for watching.
Thank you. Catch me on B Ray Lifestyle. And so we'll have more to come. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Y'all have a great evening.
Thanks.
Bye.